who wants to put Americans and American security first versus Hillary Clinton, which is the status quo. She used 13 devices and 5 iPads. She said she only used 1. We don't even know where some of these devices are.
A couple of the troubling things that I was looking at, I asked the Clinton surrogate about, and he didn't seem to have a problem with it, but the FBI did find that, quote, hostile foreign actors somehow got access to her emails. Concerned?
Absolutely concerned. We also know that her iCloud, there was an attempt to hack her iCloud. And the fact that she's lying about it is disturbing. And we know this because she says, and this is in the documents, that she deleted the emails because she didn't think she needed them anymore. When in fact we know now she deleted them after the New York Times article came out. And for someone who has spent so long in public office, she's never been exposed to the records retention responsibilities of someone who serves in public office. I mean, this is absurd. Absolutely. The campaign is going to continue to draw that contrast of Donald Trump, a strong businessman who wants to give back to his country because he's been successful and wants to see other Americans be successful, wants to stop the status quo and the corruption. We have to get back to the basics. Donald Trump wants to do common sense governance. Number one, we have to protect American interests at home and abroad. Hillary Clinton has failed miserably.
Donald called into the factor last night, talked about his immigration plan. He said he was going to remove all the criminal aliens. They're gone. And then we're going to see what happens with the balance. What does that mean?
Well, that means for many years we've heard politicians who want to talk about immigration reform, and we never seem to secure the border and implement current laws, and we saw this in the 80s with Reagan's amnesty. And this is Mr. Trump's attempt to show the public and to bring back good faith that we can do what's right as far as moving forward. This is not about breaking up families. This is simply about national security.
Do they go, though? The illegals that are here?
Oh, Mr. Trump, if you are illegal in this country, Mr. Trump says all illegals should leave the country. And if you want to be a citizen, you reapply. We have people right now paying $5,000 to $15,000 for attorneys and fees to be legal citizens of this country. It's not fair, and we have to get back to the basics.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about, he's going to Detroit. You're going to travel to Detroit as well?
Yes.
And that's going to be an African-American outreach?
Absolutely.
Inner city outreach, African-American, Hispanics as well?
Oh, absolutely. This is something that Mr. Trump's been wanting to do for a very long time. And what's been underreported in the media are his meeting with the Black Chamber of Commerce during the primary, his meetings with the Black Pastors organizations during the primaries. He went to Chicago to have a rally. Should he be
doing that again now that he's the nominee?
Absolutely. He's going to continue to meet with all organizations. Mr. Trump has been running and working very hard. He's not out at the Hamptons doing a gazillion fundraisers.
That's a good,
He's out there working on the weekend.
That is a good point. All right. Katrina, thank you very much.
Great
I'll leave it right there. The poll numbers in some key swing states are looking better and better for Trump. Newt Gingrich will be here next to assess Trump's strategy to win the White House, and that is upcoming. Path to victory. Last night on The Factor, Larry Sabato, director of the University of Virginia's Center for Politics, had a pessimistic view of Trump's chances to defeat Hillary Clinton in November.
May or may not include the obvious fact that the FBI just reported that when Hillary said she turned over all of her work emails, she was only off by 13,700. I mean, how much luck can you get with learning that Bill Clinton was taking taxpayer money to get rid of bed bugs? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So I would say that Trump's luck is likely to continue and get better and better as we learn more and more about how corrupt and how dishonest the Clintons are. But I think there are 4 things people don't quite get in the elite media that change all of this. The first is that there are really big issue differences, and in most cases, the elite media is on Hillary's side, so they don't understand the power, for example, of worrying about honest voting. They don't understand the power of sanctuary cities. They don't understand the power of worrying about jobs in the current weak economy. They don't understand the power of saying we shouldn't let terrorists in the country. That's done number one. Number 2, the difference right now that's growing between a very aggressive, energetic Donald Trump. People in Louisiana are in trouble. Here comes Donald Trump. Hillary's hiding in the Hamptons raising money. The Mexican president offers an invitation. Here comes Donald Trump. Hillary's in the Hamptons raising money. I mean, what you have is an energetic, dynamic business entrepreneur who is showing the kind of aggressive president he would be, and you have Hillary over here hiding and raising money, hoping the ads will take care of her. Third, I think there's a huge difference in this race and any other race I've seen in the gap about the core values of the American people. The elites, whether it's in Europe or across the planet, the elites are in more and more trouble as the average person realizes that things aren't on the right track and that things aren't working very well. That we're now past, I think it's 3,700 killed in Chicago, for example, since Obama became president. Nobody can be comfortable with that. Lastly, frankly, I think that there is a moment here that we're going to see in the debates and the whole difference between the two of them. Donald Trump is the first Republican I can remember who is explicitly saying to the African American community, things can be better, but not with Democrats in charge. If he continues to say it, and if he has the courage to go back to places like Chicago and say it, I think he's going to get far more votes in the black community than any Republican in modern times. That alone changes Larry Sabato's calculus.
All right, Mr. Speaker, let's talk a little bit about this immigration situation. Donald Trump, as you pointed out, met with Mexican President Peña Nieto in the morning or in the early afternoon. He came off very presidential, very statesman-like. And then that evening, he delivered a very enthusiastic speech directed right to his base, and a lot of people on the left said, well, there it is again. He's flip-flopping. At one moment you have this Donald, next minute you have that Donald. Decipher that. Will that be seen as a win, that day be seen as a win?
Oh, it's seen by the American people as a win, and that's what the polls are saying. Trump proved, first of all, that he was not afraid to go to Mexico. He was not afraid to meet with the president of Mexico, despite the strong words both have used. He also proved that he could stand on a stage and look fully as presidential as the incumbent president of Mexico. That was an enormous win for him, and one that Hillary has to be looking at with some real fear. Second, he proved when he came home that he's really Donald Trump. You see, everybody on the left, when they say they want him to mature, they mean they want him to sell out. That's what mature means if you're a liberal. When you're talking to a conservative, you have a chance to be more mature always means you have a chance to sell out. What Trump proved was he's perfectly happy to negotiate with the president of Mexico, but by the way, he's going to negotiate from an American perspective, not from a globalist international perspective. And that's why the elite media have gone crazy about his speech on immigration.
Mr. Speaker, I got just about a minute or so. Why do you think Hillary Clinton has not done a press conference, and we're going on 10 months now?
Because she can't lie to the entire corps of reporters simultaneously and survive it. She can't tell the truth and survive it. This is why her campaign, I think, is terminal. This is the most dishonest, corrupt candidate ever to run for president of the United States. Every time we learn more about it, it's more sickening. And I think over the next month or so, you're going to learn even more about it. And I think that's why, in the end, Larry Sabato's luck is going to go to Donald Trump.
All right, very good. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Trump's been making a sustained appeal to African-American voters, but will it work? We're going to debate that next on The Factor.